Good morning, everybody. So today I am going to give you a little tutorial. As I've been hiking, I'm seeing a lot of this lupine. This month is February, and that is their month to bloom. So I just think they are so beautiful with all the different colors. This is one I painted as a practice before I walk through this with you. So you can see all these beautiful colors. The colors I'll be using today are going to be, they're all Winsor Newton, and this one is magenta, which is one of my favorite colors. If you follow me, you see me use that a lot. Violet, I put this one on there and decided against it, so disregard that one. And Prussian blue, which is also a favorite of mine because it's so vibrant. So I like that one as well. So those are basically the three colors I will be using. I will be using some greens in the leaves. And my favorite go-to is this olive green. So I'll be using that. It's kind of a deeper, I don't know, the word that comes to mind for me is like this musky. I don't even know if that's a color description, but I like that. And then I mix it with a sap green. So the sap green is a little bit brighter, and I kind of like that too, so I go in between the two. I will add just a touch in the tips of the flowers. As you see here, I've used some green, kind of both of those greens, sap green and the olive green, and then I just have barely a touch of cad yellow. So I will use a little bit of that cad yellow as well, which is right here. So these are all the colors that I'll be utilizing today in the painting. These are pretty common colors, and again, I use Winsor Newton. Today I'm using a Degato artist brush. I believe this is a number 7 round, but you can use any round that you feel comfortable with. I like the round because you can get the wide stroke and you can also get that tip, the point. So let's go ahead and get started. These are really easy shapes. What I kind of wanted to do is, well, I'll do it in the painting. So we want to use a little bit of the side of our brush to get this wide area and then bring it down and lift up to get that tip. So let's go ahead and start. Lupines kind of tend to go fat at the bottom and skinnier at the top. So that's what we're going to do here. By the way, if you notice, my palette has these daisies on it. This is a custom palette by Mist Ceramics. I love her palettes. I actually have several. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's go on the bottom here, and we're going to use the side of our brush and then come to a point and just kind of let it do its own thing. I don't like to be too structured here. If you know me, you know that's kind of my thing. So let's just make these. You can also go from the tip and get thicker, tip and get thicker, kind of like this. We're going to mix them. I like to use quite a watery consistency in my paints. You can see here, you can really move the paint around easily. That's how I know I have enough water for me. You may like to use your paint a little more opaque, and that's perfectly fine as well. So I'm going to start using a little bit of the purples. And we're going to start tapering off as we get to the top. And maybe just adding a little bit of that blue in. That Prussian blue that I'm using is, as you can see, really, really strong. So be kind of careful with it. You want to water it down, otherwise it can really take over your painting. I'm going to add a few more down here. So just playing with it, kind of letting, be the judge of it yourself. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here with a little bit stronger paint, so a little bit less water, but still very movable. That's important in watercolors. You want the paint to move. And just go in and do a few more here. Okay. Then as you get to the top, what I noticed in the lupine is they have a lot of green in the top. So I'm going to just add that with a little bit of this yellow mixed in. And then start drawing the stem. Kind of follow down from each of these leaves. Now I'm mixing my greens. As you can see, this is more of an olive green. Now really, I would have liked to have left a little bit more space at the bottom for that stem. And now what I'm going to do is wash my brush out. Now, as I always tell you, let me show you because it's really important. Have a dirty water, sorry, I know that's really close up, to clean your brush, and then always have a rinse water to rinse, because watercolors are so transparent. If you don't do a good rinse, you're going to carry over whatever color you were using. So I'm going to clean that one up a little bit, just soak up some of that. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to go in the background with just a very faint bit of color. And I'm just going to add in some so they look like they're kind of in the background there. You can also just do this with water. See, that was mostly water. And what that's going to do is give you that feeling that there's some in the background. Okay, so just adding in some in the background, letting the paint blend like that. Okay. So there you go. There's that lupine. I think this is such a beautiful flower. I love it every time I see it blooming. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more of that yellow at the top. Maybe just a little bit more green here and there. Lupines have these long, slender leaves, so you can add some of those. So there you go. The last little touch, since I have a few more minutes here, is you can always go in, pull out a little bit of color here and there. Again, be careful with that blue. It's really strong and vibrant. And be careful, I tend to sometimes overwork my paintings. Once you're kind of happy with it, just stop. But I like to also pull out a few colors here and there. So there you go. Now here's a little accident. I'll just sweep that up with a dry brush. So there you go. Have fun.